Ear to the Ground podcast.
Hello, you're listening to Ear to the Ground podcast with me, Faith, Danny and Billy.
Yep, so coming up today we've got some news for you, and then we're going to be talking about the new Saw film, Jigsaw, and the TV series Stranger Things Season 2. News.
Yeah, so we're going to move straight into the news, and Amazon have announced that they're going to make a Lord of the Rings prequel, which is a TV series. I think their aim is to get the new Game of Thrones, basically. So they've announced it today, and it's going to be an Amazon Prime original. It's just going to be based on Lord of the Rings from beforehand. You're not massive fans of Lord of the Rings.
I'm not really. It's been one of those things that I feel like I should be into, but I've never really got into.
Yeah, I feel like that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one? Haven't you already had a prequel of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yeah.
Yeah, they have.
And that was rubbish on it.
I think that's
It
up
was-
for debate,
yeah.
isn't it?
Some people say that it's as good as Lord of the Rings, and other people say that they just made it that it didn't need to be 3 films.
2 of my friends went on a double date, and I clearly wasn't there because
Single.
don't go on dates. do
Third
I?
wheeling.
And the 2 least likely people to go and see anything fantasy, especially not The Hobbit. They've not even seen Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Wow.
and
Well-
that's the only thing.
So they just do it so they can get off in the back of the cinema.
Yeah.
They're
Easy.
those type
Probably.
of people.
I was at home
Smooching on the back row.
counting my button collection probably.
Oh.
But I'm not the kind of person who's really into fantasy movies, but I really liked Lord of the Rings. I've not really watched Hobbit, and I gave it about half an hour and thought, to be honest, does the Hobbit? Yeah, I think it was on Channel 5 or something, and I just couldn't really be bothered with.
It's on Channel 5. That's when you know.
Because it's a long, they're long
Yeah.
films, aren't they?
I think that's what puts me off about. I've seen bits of all of them, but I've never sat down and thought, right, I'm going to watch it just because it's ages, isn't it?
But that must be the good thing about what's going to be this Amazon Prime thing. Because
Yeah,
it's going to be hour-long
Small,
shows, isn't it? Yeah.
digestible shows.
So I'll probably get into it, won't I?
They'll probably watch it and then go,
Oh, definitely. But do you think it's
what do I
really?
think about this?
Do you think it's necessary?
No.
No, it's probably flogging a dead horse, really, isn't it? It's like rinsing everything as much as Faith
Yeah.
doesn't
Well,
like
that's
the
what-
animal reference there.
I winced. Could you
Beg your
tell?
pardon.
That's what the
Um,
the Hobbit basically did as well, wasn't it? A prequel that wasn't really necessary. Well,
Yeah.
some people thought that it should have been a film, but a shorter film, one film.
Yeah.
Uno film.
But yeah, I think I will definitely give it some time, and I think I think it's going to be a surefire hit, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
No
definitely.
problem
Anything
about
with
it.
the Lord of the Rings name on it is going to be, surefire hit. But I think because everyone thought it was going to be rebooting the trilogy, but like in a TV series at one point, and everyone was just a bit like, no, it's too soon.
It's
and-
too
Right.
soon.
Yeah, or like just because they're trying to keep the brand going, really, aren't they? So they've got
Yeah.
something Lord of the Rings out.
I feel like it has been a long time, and I don't know. I just feel like it's run its course, hasn't it? I feel like we talk about that, say that pretty often. Like
Yeah,
it's run its course.
Definitely.
We're very pessimistic on this show.
I think if it's not a reboot, I think as far as reboots go, I think people should they don't, because that's what Hollywood is. But people should reboot things that are bad or like weren't quite as good as they should have been, to make like a better version. But then people never do that. They just reboot things that were good and then usually ruin them.
It's like Grease 2 was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I've
It's
seen that. It's
awful.
not even about Danny and Sandy, is it?
No, it's
It's
awful.
about like
high school.
some
reunion.
rando
Yeah,
with the motorcycle.
it's awful.
It's quite weird, isn't it?
I feel like Mean Girls 2 wasn't that good either.
Not seen that.
You're
I don't
throwing
quite go
out
that
these,
far into
aren't
my
you?
feminine side.
No.
I'm out of film references now.
Grease and Mean Girls, that's it.
Yeah. And what was that film? No, you see, even the ones I've watched, I don't remember.
I've seen a film once.
I
What was
I
that
saw
one?
a motion picture once,
It cost threepence to get in.
and I had a bag of, I don't know,
Marathons.
Yeah.
You don't get marathons in packs, but
salted peanuts,
Mini rolls.
mini rolls,
Yeah.
mini rolls and a froob,
Yeah. There's
and a
Yeah,
Capri
yeah.
Sun.
a Capri Sun.
Caprice.
Anyway, we've gone
Yeah,
right off
we've-
topic
yeah,
towards
let's move
like
on.
lunchtime snacks.
Mm.
So as well, in other news, The Christmas adverts are coming out, and I don't know if you've seen like John Lewis's advert is the staple, isn't it? What everyone seems to.
Yeah,
The
that's what everyone
staple.
says.
Well, everyone seems to look forward to it, and that's the one where people seem to see that that's when Christmas starts. When
No.
John Lewis's album.
Well, sometimes. I think that's the first one. Were they the first ones to sort of do
Yeah, they were.
a narratively like heart-tugging
Yeah.
Christmas advert or whatever?
Yeah, and now every single one of them
Literally
slow a
everyone
song
does it.
down. And
Isn't there one with a carrot this year? Have you seen
That's
the
the
carrot
Aldi one, yeah.
Aldi.
oh, I've not seen it.
The,
I've not seen them all.
only good one that Aldi did was when they did the Man on the Moon one.
Yeah, I remember that. He gets hit by the carrot gets hit by a pea, and he's like gonna die, and his wife's holding him, and he goes, "I think I peed myself." And then that's the crux of the advert.
Oh no!
With that exact same delivery down to a T.
I think that's going to be the highlight of this podcast.
You peaked too early. You peaked too early.
I'm definitely editing to this week's podcast.
Because I'll take it out.
Just loop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every company does one now, don't they? Because have you seen the Very one with the wolf and the pink box thing? And I've not even heard of Very. I think it's some sort of clothes company.
Yeah, it's like
Before the Christmas advert, and I'm like, who are you to make an advert? There's been some controversy about the M&S one, though, hasn't there, with Paddington? Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, you've
Angry
yeah,
Father Christmas.
You've mentioned this to us. Go on.
Yeah. So basically, I'll put the clip in here, but there's some controversy about what this little bear says.
No, it's
Yeah.
not what the bear
About
says. It's what Santa says.
Yeah, Santa.
Oh, I almost forgot. Merry Christmas, Mr. Claus.
Thank you, little bear.
He's probably had a long day. He's been out delivering presents all
Delivering
night.
presents.
And he's
Oh,
thought,
mate.
I don't know what to
Up
say.
on your horse,
I
bear.
don't want to say it. Get stuffed, bear.
Well, that's the thing. He's not actually. If you watch the advert, though, he's not Santa. He's a robber that Paddington thinks is Santa because he's dressed in red.
Oh, so he might say it.
Yeah. So he might just be an angry robber because he's just took him on a tour and gave all these presents away.
Film.
So yeah, I went to see Jigsaw, which is the
Not a game,
8th Saw
simple.
film.
Best ones are. You want mercy? Play by the rules.
For me, the fun of the Saw films is just seeing how stupid the continuity gets, because in the first one it's like people in a trap, and that's like
I don't think that's what they were going for.
That is
to be
a
honest.
very like TV student, film student.
Why
thing to say,
it
isn't
is.
The continuity of
Compliment.
If you watch it as a comedy, it genuinely works just because of how much they stretch to. Anyway, so in Saw 1, they're just chained in a basement and they have to get out. And then in Saw 2, it's like another trap with like 4 people, and they have to try and escape this other room, this big house with lots of traps around it. And then you find out that it's actually the same house as in the first film in the end, because there's a twist, and it's like, and then this woman who was part of the trap was helping him the whole time.
Yeah.
Then in Saw 3, basically the same thing happens. It's you find out that it's related to the first one, and oh my god, he's been helping them the whole time, and then that happens in basically all of them. And
now we're
spoiler
on
alert, it happens in this one as well. Because
So what you saying about the average Saw audience?
I'm not saying that they're bad.
audience.
I mean,
This audience.
it's got some good like gore effects in
You
it.
can have that one.
It's in my
take
back
that.
pocket.
That's good.
I'll store it.
Yeah, I don't think the plot is like convoluted beyond any sort of anyone taking it seriously. Really, I don't think people are really invested as to see what happens to these characters next. And usually it starts off as though they're going to start again anyway. They're usually like, oh look, here's some new characters. Oh, but wait, he's been helping Jigsaw the whole time. So despite the actual Jigsaw killer being dead since like the third one, he still manages to come back.
From beyond the grave.
Yeah.
So is he the one who stands up stating he faked his death? Or is that,
yeah, that's in the first one though.
Oh right.
That's definitely in the first one, and then
You
in the third
tried.
one he actually dies like of cancer or something.
Well,
and
that's
then
sad. This guy, is this the guy?
No.
Um,
Can't see what you're pointing at anyway,
Yeah.
but it's not the guy.
yeah. This is
Um,
radio.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
basically, it's more of the same. If you like Saw, then go see it because it's more Saw. There's some of the kills and the traps are inventive, but basically the twist just doesn't make any sense. It's so convoluted that
Yeah, I thought that quite a lot. Like you say, I feel like it's a waste of my time because you sort of know what's going to happen, and you just, to be honest, if you're gonna go watch Saw, you just want to see all the gore, really, don't you? And that sort of knocks me sick.
yeah.
So I don't really want to see it. So.
You really, really don't like it. It scares you.
Just the
I
gore.
just don't like it.
I mean, the first
don't
one's not
like
bad.
being
In the first
scared.
one, a guy has to cut his leg off, and that's about as gory as it gets. But then in the
Yeah.
other ones, it's just like really over the top. By like number 6, the traps just got really
Well,
stupid.
yeah, I remember watching the first one, which was like a bit, and it was scary for me at that point, but it wasn't that gory. But
No.
now it is.
And it's not
just
scary.
ridiculous.
They put a few cheap jump scares in, but it's nothing like a horror.
Bone chillingly
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
but more of the traps are mostly like stripped back in this one. And I'm probably going to spoil it now because it's hard to express how stupid the plot is without actually explaining it. So spoiler alert if you actually want to see Jigsaw, which
I feel like that ship sailed because
Yeah.
Halloween's gone. Not many people. I
Yeah.
just think
Is
it's.
that
I mean,
the sell-by date
yeah.
for it?
Yeah.
and if you're a Saw fan, you've probably
easy.
seen it by now anyway.
I remember going to the cinema and we'll watch Saw on Halloween, and we walked out because it was rubbish.
Yeah, basically. Basically, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
And this new one's not going to change your mind. So
Disney.
basically, by the
Yeah.
end, Saw.
Right, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Basically, by the end, you find out that the guy who's been trying to hunt Jigsaw down the whole time is actually the bad guy, and they have a red herring making you think it's this random police guy who's a bit shady, but it's not. It's actually the main character, and he did it all to get revenge on the police guy because he let lots of people go who murdered people and took bribes and stuff, and in the end, he sets it up so he frames all the police guy, and it turns out that he's been helping Jigsaw since before the first one, and yeah, it's pretty stupid. None of it makes sense.
But Jigsaw's now dead. So
Jigsaw's been dead since the third or fourth one.
So yeah. So how's that happened? So he's just basically carried on the
his legacy, yeah.
the
There's been
legacy,
4 or 5 people that have carried on his legacy, and
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, I thought this.
Yeah.
The one I've
So
seen.
if you've seen the trailer, there's basically lots of traps that are in like an abandoned farmhouse place.
Yeah.
And it basically they're taking place before Saw 1, and then but it tricks you into thinking that they're happening now because the police people are finding the bodies like it is in now. But it turns out that this guy's got a really elaborate plot to copy him and how all the people died in the traps because they never found the bodies from those traps. So he copies all the people, all the deaths of the traps, and leaves the
I'm
bodies
so
for the police to
confused.
exactly leaves the bodies for the police to find. But I don't get why he had to do that. Like, why did he have to copy Jigsaw if nobody knew about the bodies? Then who would even know that he's copying Jigsaw
It's a
apart from
very
himself?
flawed.
and
You're
us,
asking
the
me
audience.
questions I can't answer.
Anyway, and no one can answer it. The screenwriters can't answer it because it's unbelievably stupid. But that's the fun of it for me anyway. Just seeing how
Yeah.
far they can go with how often they're going to relate it back. And the thing is, this time they actually acted like they were going to do something different and be like completely unrelated, and maybe
No.
give a new like charismatic Jigsaw person.
They're never gonna do that, are they? It's a cash
No.
cow. What they're gonna make a lot of money off.
Cash cow.
Yeah.
But another thing that
yeah.
doesn't make sense is that they get Tobin Bell, the guy who plays Jigsaw, and they show him as like a twist, like, oh, he's still alive. So it makes you think he's come back before the twist actually happens, and then it turns out that it's supposed to have been before, but how he looks like so much older
Yeah.
because the first film was about what, like
Near enough
13?
20,
yeah 13, 14 years ago, and
Probably longer
yeah,
than that.
there's
yeah.
just so many continuity errors like that. That just if you actually care about the story, then it's just going to drive you insane.
No. Yeah, it doesn't really sound. Well, I've so it's a tried and tested
Yeah.
formula, isn't it?
But like I said, if you do like the Saw
yeah.
films, then it's all right. It's probably not as bad as the bad ones and not as good as the good ones.
Yeah. So they've not done anything groundbreaking or changed anything up far too much.
No,
have
it's
they?
basically the same. There's some new inventive trap things, but Yeah, it's nothing special.
So it's a no from me.
It's a no from you if you don't like Saw.
Right, so we're going to move on now. Going to
Sorry.
move on to the TV element of the podcast. TV. And this is going to be, I feel like it's going to be Stranger Things.
You feel like it's going to be
like
Stranger
No,
Things?
I know it's going to be Stranger Things. I feel
we
like
did plan this.
yeah, I feel like that everyone might be a bit sick of hearing about Stranger Things, like people who don't.
Like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me.
But I think it's one of my favourite shows, and I think it's definitely worth a go if you're interested in it, even slightly. If you
like
want to see, like, believe the hype, shall we say, I think it is worth a go.
Maybe all of this is happening for a reason.
These are not nightmares. It's happening. And it all leads back to here.
This thing.
You said it was all in his head. And what have you done? Nothing. What is wrong with my boy?
But how would you say the second series, speaking about the second series,
Right, so
like specifically, how do you think that compares?
I think it actually really does. It does really. I think it's a great sequel. There's going to be another one. There's going to be a Stranger Things 3, so you've got that to look forward to. So Stranger Things is, if you didn't know, it's an American sci-fi horror, which I've said isn't my bag really.
Thought you didn't like to be scared.
Exactly. But it's just like enough jump scares. It's not really that scary, to be honest. And it's created by the Duffer Brothers. And the first season was released in 2016, and obviously the newest one's been out recently. So basically, Will in the first one got taken into the Upside Down, this area, and it's as you try to explain it, you can see I've done it to a few people, and I can, as it's coming out my mouth, I think, what a load of nonsense I'm talking here. And I sort of lose lose confidence in myself saying it, but yeah. So
Probably doesn't help our faces, like.
I know,
the
yeah.
physical
It's
looks
hard
we're
to
getting right now.
explain it too much, but yeah. So Will vanished, and they ended up getting him back. And 11, basically they have this. It's hard to explain. Let's edit this a little bit. I don't know the actual word where they've gone. Season 1.
Utopian.
Yeah. Right. So.
Is it set in the 80s?
Yeah.
Is The Rock in it?
No. Right. So
I thought The Rock was in it.
let's
It's a different film, I think.
Yeah. We'll go back into it
This
now.
is a TV program, not a film.
So yeah, it's set in the 80s, and it's in Hawkins, a town in Indiana. And a scientist is attacked. This is in the first series. So then they have like a scientist sort of laboratory. There's a big building where they mess about with aliens basically, and that's where the gateway for the Upside Down is. And this is in Hawkins. So basically, that's where Will gets taken, and then he gets found in the end. And then in the second series, the monster that had taken him sort of, one of them, the baby ones, gets out, and then they find it, and Will is in the toilets, and he's spews up this monster which was inside him, and then he sort of gets, it sounds ridiculous, and then he sort of gets taken over by it again, and it's then digging tunnels in Hawkins, and it's gonna take over the whole town, and they're all gonna die basically. So it is very it's a very end of the world sort of
Apocalyptic.
yeah, it is. But I think the thing what really makes it for this program is the actors. The young actors are really good. The guy who plays Dustin is brilliant. He's really good, and they're all pretty good. Winona Ryder's brilliant in it. David Harbour, who is Jim Hopper, who's the police the detective. They're all brilliant, and I think that I've made my girlfriend watch it, and she agrees with me. And it's more of the fact that it's not our bag, but because the characters are so likable and they are played really well, you sort of become drawn into it and you really like it. I don't know if you've ever thought that about other programs, but because the actors play such a strong part of it, I feel like I've given it loads more time, but it is really good.
I know what you mean. I think, I watched the first one, and I think it was because of the hype that I didn't like it. I was probably expecting something a bit more than what it was, sort of thing. So that's why I didn't really take to the first one, and that's why obviously I've not watched this one.
Yeah,
because it does have an unbelievable amount of people saying it's the best show ever.
Well, that's what made me give it a go, and then but I really think that it's a slow burner. It doesn't grip you straight away, so you have to
Oh no, that's where you've lost me.
You have to give it a good 2 episodes, and then it then the cliffhangers kick off, and it's one of them where I found that I didn't want to I had to watch the next show.
Well, that's what Netflix does, isn't it? They always put cliffhangers at the end of at the end of every episode to just keep you watching the next one and the next one.
But
Orange is the New Black.
Like every Netflix series every year.
Yeah.
American Vandal.
Vandal. Call back to
what else is a good Netflix series I watched?
Have you ever watched House of Cards? That's a good.
No.
That's more political.
Love.
Yeah,
that's it.
Karen
More
Spacey.
politically incorrect.
Let's not go.
Let's not open that can of worms again.
But yeah, so in the second series, basically, Will gets sort of taken over, and they're trying to get rid of this.
Possessed.
Yeah, he gets possessed from this alien monster.
Tentacle.
And then they're trying to
probed.
Yeah, but no one in the town sort of believes it because it's all a secret what happened in the first series. So they're still trying to get to the bottom of it and try and basically keep it on the wraps. Because there's also a murder mystery, which is Will's sister's best mate. She disappeared and she got murdered. So and it turns out it was all a big cover up by the government. So they have to keep it on the wraps. So it is. I don't know. It's just it's very confusing to try and dumb it down into bite-sized pieces. But
what do you mean dumb it down?
Well, you know what I mean. Give you a little snippet. Yeah, condense it.
Dumb it down.
But yeah, and then it's sort of how they can, because these creatures are then trying to take over, and they've killed all the people, all the workers within the laboratory. So yeah, it's very, very, as much as I'm not selling it enough, I would definitely recommend watching it because I think it's a great series. But yeah.
Yeah, great. That's a hearty recommendation from Danny.
Yeah.
And a big I haven't seen it from Billy and Faye.
Yeah, I suppose I've sort of. I don't think I've ruined it enough for you.
No.
But yeah, I really would give it a go.
I don't think
you definitely haven't ruined it.
I'm not spoiled.
If anything,
any
you've made me more
spoilers.
confused as to what it might be.
Yeah, I feel like you just need to give it an episode, maybe 2, and you get into it. And I find it's one of them where I get asked to what's happening, and I'm like, I don't really know, but I like it, and I just go along with it. But yeah, it is good. It is really good, and I think, watch it. Get on Netflix and watch it.
Thanks for listening, anyway. And
this is a very mild goodbye, wasn't it?
It was a meek goodbye.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Being our friends.
So yeah,
and hopefully we'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about Peaky Blinders next week.
I think I'm going to see Murder on the Orient Express as well. So
yeah, that looks good. So we've got that to look forward to. Peaky Blinders is back.
Definitely.
Bosh.
Anyway,
right. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Ear to the Ground podcast.